Hi, everybody. So I'm going to start today's conversation with you guys with something very uncomfortable for all of us. What I'm going to say is that in a few years, right, AI, artificial intelligence, is going to do everything that you're doing today. That's a given fact, right? It is going to do it. Whether it is research and analysis, whether it is problem solving, whether it is solutioning, whatever may be it is that you're doing today, AI is going to do that. And it is going to do it effortlessly. That's the bottom line. We all know this. Right? We all anticipated it. Right? And therefore, most of us are asking a question. And the question is AI going to replace me? Now, to me, that's not even a question. In fact, if you do want to ask a question, that would be completely different from this one. And that would be, now that everything has been made easy, what is left for me to do? Right? And that's the question you need to ask yourself. Not whether AI is going to replace you. We've been walking this treaded path, right? This beaten track that our fathers and our grandfathers and all our predecessors have walked. And this path is very, very comfortable for us. It says, study this, right? You score so much, right? You get this job or get this title, whether it's a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or an architect or whatever it is, a computer nerd, you get that in, and then it is predictable, it is repeatable, it is measurable, it is safe, and therefore your life is made. Right? That's the advice I got from my elders. I'm sure that's the advice that a lot of people got from their elders at the time when they're beginning their life. Right? Now this is exactly what artificial intelligence is developed to do. Whatever is repeatable, predictable, measurable, it will do. It will take over that completely, and it will do it faster than you. It will predict faster than you. It is basically based on predictions, right? And you cannot hope to compete with it at all. You cannot hope to go on its home turf, pick up a war with artificial intelligence and win, because it is far more superior to you there. And I'll tell you why. It is because you were born. The intelligence that you have at 4 is more than the intelligence you had at 2. The intelligence you have at 8 is more than 4. The intelligence at 16 is more than 8. The intelligence on 32 is more than 16, and so on and so forth. Which means at any given point of time in your life, you are always gaining information which you convert to knowledge, which you convert to intelligence, which you perhaps convert to wisdom. Right? Through your age. So till you're 60, till you're 80, till you're, if you're lucky enough, 100, or unlucky enough, you're 100. So you are always learning. AI is born with all of the learning that you would have acquired at the age of 80 on day 1, crammed into it, ready to be used. So can you compete with it when you're 16? Can you compete with it when you're 30? When you're 60, when you're 80, you can't, because it has got all that knowledge on day 1. And therefore, its predictability is greater than yours. It's a very simple logic. right? So then you might have another question for me. You might ask, why are you on that stage telling me that I'm a loser? Right? You might ask, you have every right to ask. But before you ask that question, let me say I am not here to say that you're a loser. I'm here to clearly define why AI cannot replace you. Right? And I'm going to take me as an example. Right? I think it's only fair. So I live two lives. In one life, I'm an executive director in one of the big four. And I manage regulatory risk for extremely large organizations across a multitude of laws that are applicable to their businesses. Not in one, not in two, not in three, not in 10, but in 140 countries. Now, how do I do that? I do that by understanding their business, understanding the processes within their business, underlying the regulatory framework that applies to those processes, mapping that framework, implementing this at my client's end, and automating it. This is what I do. Right? This is my daily bread and butter. Now, when I say I do it, I don't mean I do it. I have a people of 300 strong team of professionals who help me to do it in different facets of law, across different industries, etc., and so forth. That is one life, right? And then I have a second life. That's the life of an author, right? In this life, what do? I don't go anywhere near law or regulatory risk. I'm done with that in that life. In this life, what I do is, I write about fractured realities. I write about broken timelines. I write about epic battles. I write about, larger than life heroes and larger than life villains. I write about world building and then I destroy those worlds. It's called speculative fiction, where you have science and fantasy merging together. That's my second life. Chaos in the first life, chaos in the second life. And then we'll look at sorting out what that chaos is. These are the two lives I lead. Right? I am known as Vadhan, the author, and I'm known as Sai, the regulatory compliance specialist. Two separate identities as well. Right? Now, my first life is repeatable, predictable, measurable, and therefore that life can be replaced. Right? Now my second life, now that's very interesting. That's where it gets interesting. And I'm giving you an example of that. My recent book that I had just released is a book I read, just come out on Amazon, and I was writing that book. At the point of time I was writing the book, there was one particular scene I had to write. Now this scene was a very emotional scene. Okay? Now I write thrillers. I like fast-paced thrillers, but then thrillers hinge on emotions. Right? So this is a very emotional scene in which the mother has to let go of her 9-year-old daughter for the daughter's own safety. She has to let her go forever. Right? So it's a scene where she's kneeling down, she's smothering the daughter with kisses, her heart's breaking, and she, in her angst, in her pain, the only things that she can say is, Diya, that's the daughter's name, Diya, the world's a bad place, please be careful. That's all she's able to say. That's the pain she had. Right? So when I put that down in my manuscript, I found that it looked like a science thesis. It did not carry any emotion. It fell flat. And I did not know what to do, because then, I had to bring that emotion in. And therefore, I went to my buddy, the artificial intelligence, and I asked the question, to listen, and whatever I just told you now, I just told the AI. And I said, can you please break down these emotions for me? Break them down. And what did the AI do? It broke it down. It broke it down to the anguish, the inevitability, the mother's dilemma, the fact that she wanted to die rather than give up her child, but she still has to give up. A lot of things were broken down. My emotions, the emotions I was feeling at that time. And then the words came in my mind. And I wrote down that scene. And my beta readers, when they read the book, they were very emotionally charged at the time when they read the scene. And they said, wow, I mean, this came out well. AI didn't write it. AI didn't write it. I did the writing. The AI helped me to amplify my emotions. It helped me to amplify whatever it is I was doing. Right? That is the lesson I learned on that day when I was writing that scene. Right? So then, the thought that comes to my mind is replacement versus amplification. Is AI going to replace me, or is AI going to amplify me? Right? And again, I will go back to those same three words. If you're doing something for an obligation, if you're doing something which is repeatable, predictable, and measurable, whatever it is you're doing, you can be replaced. Right? But if you're doing that same thing, right, based on your passion, your obsession, and people have come up and asked this question to me, listen boss, you're running a regulatory risk office which is so huge, where do you get the time to write 7 books? And that too on topics which are completely unrelated to what you do. And I tell them that where there is a will, there is a way. Where there is passion, there is a path. Right? It's an obsession. It's an obsession. And if I don't write, the thoughts keep coming into my mind. They keep filling into me and I have to get it out. Right? So that is what drives me to do my writing. Right? The reason I'm saying that is, going back to our discussion on, replacement versus amplification, the very simple bottom line is, if whatever you're doing is something that you are doing out of your passion, it can be engineering, it can be law, it can be architecture, it can be computers, it can be writing, it can be acting, it can be any of these things. As long as it is constructive, it's not alcoholism or drug abuse, right? AI is going to not replace you. Because AI can replace your work. AI cannot replace your passion, because work or any tasks are based on these 3 words, right? These 3 things. But your obsession, your passion to achieve something in life, right? Something positive, is something that the AI cannot have. It does not have passion. It does not have obsession. So what will it do? It will then support your passion. It will then support your obsession, and you don't have to be worried because it is not going to replace you. It's only going to replace your work. Right? And therefore, the first question that I asked, which is, the right question is not, will AI replace me? The right question is, now that everything's become so easy, what's left for me to do? Identify that. Make that your passion. Make that your obsession. Grow on that, and then AI will support you, whether it's a chatbot or whether it is agentic or whether it is whatever else is going to come in the future. Orchestration, all of that will come into play to amplify and to support your growth. And that's what you need to keep in mind, and that's the thought I'd like you to take with yourself when you go today. right? That AI is not going to replace you. The AI can never replace you. Right? So thank you very much. You've been a lovely audience and wish you all the best.